everyone. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is Monday, July 6, 2026. I hope you enjoyed your Independence weekend. I hope you did. I hope you did enjoy your Independence Day weekend here. So we know July is already underway, starting last week. So this week. So here we go. So here we go. This is episode 122 of JDB's Morning Cap. Today, we have a handful of stuff to get to today. We'll recap from the NBA last week's free agency or trade acquisitions, like as far as biggest winners and losers. There's a lot going on here today. So, and I'll talk LeBron James as well. So, we should get off to a good start in this one here. All right. So I'm gonna talk the NBA stuff for 15 minutes. Yeah, so let's start with the NBA. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. The 76ers acquired Jaylen Brown, exchanging for Paul George and multiple first-round and second-round picks to the Boston Celtics. So the last episode of Breaking News edition of JDB's Morning Cap, I did the Jaylen Brown trade. So I'm going to pick up what I left off from last Wednesday, July 1st. All right, so who do you think who has a better season, 76ers or the Celtics? So it's clear to me it's got to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Clearly, it's got to be the 76ers because they got potential championship. Jaylen Brown has won one champion than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has not been to. As a matter of fact, Jaylen Brown has won more NBA champion than Joel Embiid's Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Joel Embiid has never made the Eastern Conference Finals before. As a matter of fact, the 76ers have not made a conference finals since 2001. So the Eastern Conference just gets bigger. Now the Sixers are probably favored to win the East now, along with the Knicks, the Heat, the Celtics, the Cavs. The East is pretty darn deep, to say the least. And that's not out of the question. We talk about the Jaylen Brown, the Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and all that kind of stuff. But I have to admit, because Jaylen Brown has done everything in contributions with the Boston Celtics. With that being said, there's a lot of hazards going on here in Boston. So the NBA schedule release doesn't come out till around next month, so middle of next month. So the question is, when Jaylen Brown will face his former team? Will Jaylen Brown return to Boston against the Celtics in Boston? So that's the question right now. Where, when they're going to play. The schedule isn't released until next month. We know the Celtics will play the 76ers at the minimum of 4 times, barring a in-season tournament game, as far as knockout rounds or semifinal rounds. Let's say You play one extra game against Philadelphia, you play up to 5 times in the regular season. You could play your own you could play your own division for one team to five times against either any of your 4 division opponents in season tournament. And then outside of your division, still inside of your conference, you could play. Let's say if you play 3 times a year, you can play up to 4 times due to one extra game on the in-season tournament knockout round, if that's possible. Or 5. You can play 5 times as well if you play 4 times against outside of your division, inside of your conference. You're facing 2 other divisions. But now Jaylen Brown and Philadelphia. So projecting win totals before Brown's acquisition was supposed to be 47.5 wins. After Brown's acquisition to Philadelphia, it's up to 50.5 wins. So for Philadelphia, should I pick 50.5 wins over or under? Unfortunately, I have to pick the over, because you think Philadelphia can possibly achieve I would think Philadelphia 76ers is about to overachieve some things. But the question is, can they get to the NBA Finals with these star powers like Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey? Those are the 2 main players they need to step up. I know Jaylen Brown has experience, but Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey will have to step up to play in their big roles. But there's no questions asked. Philadelphia Sixers could pick up 50.5 wins if they can. If they can make something happen. For the Celtics, before Brown's trade, if it wasn't for Brown's acquisition, is before the Browns acquisition for the Celtics. Now the Celtics will have Paul George. And now Paul George will pair up with Jason Tatum. Well, Paul George hasn't been healthy for quite some time. So that's going to be an issue. The issue is, can they play well without Jason Tatum and Paul George next year? Last year, without Jason Tatum with Jaylen Brown on the floor, it actually worked out. When Tatum came back, this team is about to be dangerous. This team is about to go back to the finals. But that costly first-round exit, collapsing at 3-1 series deficit, caused him getting traded by Jaylen Brown to Philadelphia. But I just can't buy that. This is nothing personal to me. I'm sure that I don't like the fact that the trade did go through. I don't like the fact the trade did go through last week. And when I was reacting, it's tough. I feel really tough. I mean, it feels tough right now. If you're a Celtics fan, I have to feel horrible. I'm a Celtics fan myself. I felt horrible when Brown left. And now, as far as luxury tax is concerned, it's about gameful and trustworthy. That's what I said. You have to get myself much useful. Give me 30 seconds, maybe a minute. As I'm saying, that the luxury tax is expected to be different for the Boston Celtics. And beyond that, you want to see how much they can put a lot of pressure on these guys. But when I answer all these questions about it, you don't want to do nothing about it. So you'll have to take it right down there. All right, so now, who are your biggest winners and losers in the NBA free agency? So I'm gonna pick like several teams. I'm gonna pick like several teams who have the biggest winners right now. Number 3 is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I thought the Wolves got LaMelo Ball to support their young core. I think the reason they're going to pair it with Anthony Edwards. I think this is the biggest of the biggest winners in this one here. Number 2 is the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, definitely Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. If they're healthy, they had a pretty decent chance to win a championship. Not great chance, but decent chance to win the NBA championship, either the next year or the year after. So that's what happened. And finally, number 1 is the Miami Heat. Miami Heat is the biggest winner for the team. They add Giannis Antetokounmpo. They add Tim Hardaway Jr. So I think Miami Heat and Giannis is pairing up with Bam Adebayo. So expect to be excitement for the Eastern Conference. The starters expect to be really different. They're not going to be they're not going to be a great shooting team at times, but the expectations for Miami is high, and you got the winningest coach in Heat history, Eric Spoelstra. So this is still a Pat Riley era, you know. I won't get this personal because of that. So that would have been a good sign at all. But yeah. All right, the biggest winner for players. The biggest winner, I'm going to pick top 4 players, biggest winner by a player in a free agency. Walker Kessler is number 1. 4-year deal with the Lakers, $130 million contract. He was traded from the Jazz to the Lakers when he got an extension. So the Lakers are going really young with their young, talented lineup. So the Lakers have Colin Sexton, so when they're looking for the Lakers, so yeah, Quinn. So Lakers. So Lakers also got Sandro Kalashvili. And then you got Jaden Hardy. So they got some young guys for the Lakers who can really step up. The other biggest winner by a player is Austin Reeves. Signed a max extension to stay with the Lakers. And I think this is going to help for themselves in that one. Number 3 is the Kawhi Leonard heading back to Toronto. I thought that was a big win for the Raptors and Kawhi Leonard. And I think that's been the big story for this one. And then the other biggest winner, the player that really surprises me right now, is my biggest winner is Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris heads to San Antonio. Tobias Harris. This is the biggest winner, the Tobias Harris. The 4th biggest winner in the free agency. I think Tobias Harris will try to help the Spurs to win the championship next year. And hopefully get some better performances. So I like Tobias Harris, the 4th best biggest winner players. Alright, so who are the biggest losers? The team biggest losers. In the NBA free agency. The biggest losers. So it's number 1 is the number 1 is definitely the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are the biggest loser in the free agency this offseason. Despite they add Mitchell Robinson and Mike Conley, losing Jaylen Brown, this Celtics next season expect to be not much better. They lost most of the 2024 championship roster. They already lost Al Horford. They already lost Drew Holiday. They already lost Luke Cornett. And now just recently they lost Jaylen Brown. The only guys who are in the 2024 championship run is Derek White, Jason Tatum, Peyton Pritchard, and Sam Hauser. Those are the players who currently left the 2024, who currently is still inactive for 2024 champion of the Celtics. Number 2 is the Los Angeles Lakers. Losing LeBron is actually a good thing, but the Lakers losing DeAndre Ayton and Rui Hachimura. DeAndre Ayton DeAndre Ayton heads to Washington to play the Wizards. And then Rui Hachimura, just moments ago, he signed a 2-year contract with the other side of the the Los Angeles Clippers. So the Lakers don't have a bolster of the number of starters because of that. Number 3 is the Milwaukee Bucks. No surprise, the Bucks are one of the biggest losers in the NBA free agency. But they add Tyler Hero, the shooter, but the Bucks are going younger. It's not a surprise. And, and that's the problem because they can make sure they can put themselves in a better position. This one. And number 4 is the Houston Rockets. They signed Marcus Smart. They signed Marcus Smart. And that's the problem. The Rockets don't have another guard play. That's an issue. Who are the biggest loser players in the NBA free agency? It's got to be Julius Randle, the Brooklyn Nets. Because the Nets are dealing with number of high draft picks. They haven't seen that for years now. The other player, Cason Wallace. He doesn't have enough financial growth, but he's still developing. That's a good sign. So if he develops, he would have signed a brand extension. The other biggest losers by a player is everyone on this team. Trae Young extending contract. I mean, why the Wizards are extending Trae Young, re-signing? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Do you think the Wizards team is still going to be worse? Maybe. But I say the Wizards team is going to be better. But with Trae Young's health is denoted. They got to be careful. All right, we'll come back to JDB's morning cap. LB All-Star Week is next week. Actually, All-Star Week festivity starts late this week. We have MLB Draft. We have HBCU Classic. We have there's Baseball HBCU Classic. We have Futures Game. LB Futures Game. The players who possibly going to join the big leagues in the near future. We're also going to have MLB Draft this weekend. And then Home Run Derby is next Monday. And then MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia is next Tuesday night between American League versus National League. So there's a lot going on late this week. It's that time of the year. So we'll see how this is gonna pan out a little bit here in these situations. So now, all right, I will review the American League All-Star starters and reserves. I will review the National League All-Star starters and reserves. I'll talk both of those, and then I'll talk LeBron James. Where do you think he's going to be headed? LeBron James has not signed anything yet, so I shouldn't say anything, but that's all right. MLB All-Star Game is next Tuesday. First pitch will start at 8 Eastern on Fox, live from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So we're going to talk about the American League All-Star starters and reserves. Will be managed by the Blue Jays manager, John Schneider. He will manage the American League All-Star team in 2026. Let's see who will be in the roster. So we'll find out what's going to happen at this point on. So here are the All-Star starters. for right now. So we'll find. All right. So now. So let's take a look at the it'll be All-Star stars, but there's some are originally. So we'll find out. Who that is. All right, so here are the All-Star starters, but it is originally one. So here we go. On the outfield side, we have Mike Trout, Byron Buxton, Aaron Judge, and then we had Junior Caminero at third base, and then you had Bobby Witt Jr. from the shortstop position, second base Ernie Clement, and then first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and then catcher is Shea Legionnaires, and then DH is Yordan Alvarez. So this was originally the All-Star starters. But as of right now, but here's the different. So here are the All-Star reserves for the American League. We have Dylan Dillinger from the Detroit Tigers, catcher. Adley Rutschman from the Baltimore Orioles, catcher. Travis Bazzana, the rookie, second baseman from the Cleveland Guardians. Nick Kurtz from first baseman. Nick Kurtz has promoted to an All-Star starter, replacing the injured Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will not be participate in the NBA All-Star. Nick Kurtz from the Athletics from West Sacramento, first baseman. Then the rookie, possible American League Rookie of the Year candidate, Kevin McGonigal at shortstop. He's an All-Star for the first time in his career. Ben Rice, first baseman from the New York Yankees, also a first-time All-Star. Miguel Vargas, third baseman from the Chicago White Sox. Randy Rosarena, outfielder from the Seattle Mariners. Cody Bellinger from the New York Yankees, outfielder. Riley Green, outfielder from the Detroit Tigers. Yandy Diaz, designated hitter from the Tampa Bay Rays. So those are the reservers right now for the All-Star, but Nick Kurtz has promoted to an All-Star starter, replacing of the injured of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So I think this is a pretty good balance of the lineup, but they haven't revealed their starting lineup for the American League just yet. We'll find out who leads off and who will be the last place hitter in the American League All-Star starting lineup. But who surprises to me in the MLB All-Star game for the American League? It looks like both Trout and Judge is probably going to be out of the All-Star game. We'll have two American League All-Star replacements. We could see someone, or they can make an impact. So we'll see how that goes here. Yeah. So we may see three outfitters potential replacements. So we'll find out what's going on. Who surprises? Shea Legionnaires. 20 home runs this year. He leads all catchers in slug, home runs, RBIs, batting average. He's having an incredible year, man. He's been amazed. He has been 100% amazed. All right, who are the American League All-Star pitchers? Brian Baker from the Tampa Bay Rays, Dylan Cease from the Toronto Blue Jays, Aroldis Chapman from the Boston Red Sox, Jacob Latz from the Texas Rangers, Parker Messick from the Cleveland Guardians, Drew Rasmussen from the Tampa Bay Rays, Joe Ryan from the Minnesota Twins, Cam Schlitter from the New York Yankees, Kate Smith from the Cleveland Guardians, Ranger Suarez from the Boston Red Sox, Lewis Varland from the Toronto Blue Jays, Michael Wacha from the Kansas City Royals. Those are the American League pitchers All-Star. Who were snubs that they should have been in for the American League, either as positioning player or pitchers? Who's the biggest American League snub by a positioning player? Well, if I can choose at least one, the guy who swung a really nice bat this year, but it's got to be can't tell him right now. It's got to be Colson Montgomery from the Chicago White Sox. Yeah, so Colson Montgomery got snubbed for the American League position player. For the American League pitcher snub, American League pitcher snub has got to be Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray's going to be snubbed from the American League All-Star game. At least for the time being, he'll be replaced for someone else. So, all right, we'll talk more National League All-Star, started reserves, and all that stuff. We'll be right back. All right, let's take a look at the National League All-Star starters. Let's take a look. The outfielder is Brendan Marsh from the Philadelphia Phillies, Juan Soto from the New York Mets, Andy Pajas for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Here are the infielders. We have Max Muncy at third baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers, C.J. Abrams, shortstop from the Washington Nationals, Ozzie Albies, second baseman from the Atlanta Braves, Freddie Freeman, first baseman from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Drake Baldwin, catcher from the Atlanta Braves. So those are the positioning players. Here are the All-Star reservers. William Contreras, catcher from Milwaukee Brewers. Hunter Goodman, catcher from the Colorado Rockies. Luis Arias from the San Francisco Giants. Bryce Harper, Philadelphia Phillies. Legends pick. Bryce Harper was selected by a Legends pick. Otto Lopez from the Miami Marlins, infield. Matt Olson, infielder from the Atlanta Braves. Sal Stewart, first-time All-Star from the Cincinnati Reds. Corbin Carroll, outfielder from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Pete Crow Armstrong, outfielder from the Chicago Cubs. Jordan Walker, first-time All-Star from the St. Louis Cardinals. James Wood, outfielder from the Washington Nationals. Kyle Schwarber, designated hitter from the Philadelphia Phillies. Here are the pitchers. Chase Burns from the Cincinnati Reds. Max Meyer from Miami Marlins. Jacob Mizorowski from Milwaukee Brewers. Eduardo Rodriguez from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Chris Sale from the Atlanta Braves. Christopher Sanchez from the Philadelphia Phillies. Paul Skeens from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Logan Webb from the San Francisco Giants. And then Yoshimbu Yamamoto from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then Johan Duran from the Philadelphia Phillies. Raciel Iglesias from the Atlanta Braves, and finally Mason Miller from the San Diego Padres. Who are the biggest snubs? We'll get to that in a minute. But who are the surprises in the National League All-Star roster? To me, it's got to be Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker has got to be the pleasant surprise for the Cardinals this year, and there's no getting around it. But we just been talking about all of that. We've been seeing every single way they can put themselves in a prime position, and they can make something happen in this one. So we'll see how that goes. Who are the biggest snubs in the National League by positioning player? Who should have made an All-Star? It's got to be Bryce Terang from the it's got to be Bryce Terang from the Milwaukee Brewers. He's having a terrific year, but unfortunately he didn't make the cut, at least for the time being. So that's what happens. Who's the biggest snub from the Pittsburgh Pirates? It's got to be Braxton Ashcraft from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Really tough. I think he's still going to make it by a replacement. So we'll see. We'll see if Ashcraft replaces here in the All-Stars roster. We'll find out by the end of this week. So we'll see how it goes here. All right, we're going to stick with Major League Baseball for another couple of minutes. Let's take a look at the playoff picture. The American League playoff picture as of right now. Number 1 seed is the Tampa Bay Rays, 52-35. So still, they have the best team in the American League right now. Number 2 is the Chicago White Sox, 47-42 record. They come up there. They finish off the split against the Guardians in Cleveland. Guardians took the first 2. White Sox took the last 2 to retain first place in the American League Central by 1 game. And the American League West is the Seattle Mariners with a 47-44 record. So those are the division leaders. So here are the wild card leaders. The New York Yankees are 49-40. They still have the first wild card. The Yankees are slumping right now. We'll get to that in just a minute. And then second wild card is the Guardians with a 47-44 record. Then the final wild card spot is the Texas Rangers. They're 500, 45-45. So half playoffs started today. It will be Rangers and the Mariners 6 versus 3 matchup. Then it would be Guardians versus the Yankees 5 versus 4 matchup. Like I said, I'll talk the Yankees in just a couple of minutes here. Here are the National League playoff picture as of right now. Number 1 seed is the Los Angeles Dodgers, 59-32. They have the best record in baseball. Number 2 seed is the Milwaukee Brewers with a 55-33 record. And the number 3 seed is the Atlanta Braves, 52-36. All right, first wild card is the Cubs, 50-40. Second wild card is the Phillies, 50-40. The tiebreaker goes to the Cubs. The Cubs finished this. They finished 6-1. Cubs went 6-1 against the Phillies head-to-head in the regular season. Then the final wild card spot is the St. Louis Cardinals with a 47-40 record. That's the Marlins are 49-42. So the tiebreak goes to the Cardinals based on percentage points with Miami. So Cardinals won a tiebreaker by as far as percentage points, by 1 point and a half. Over a 1 point and a half. So this is going to be interesting who gets the final wildcard spot in the National League by All-Star break. So let's see how All right, let's talk about the New York Yankees. Yankees will enter a 4-game set in Tampa Bay with 4 games back. As I'm saying, the Yankees will enter a 4-game set against the Rays in Tropicana Field. So Yankees right now, they are struggling. So here's my question. What is going on with the New York Yankees? They have lost 9 of their last 10 games. Their defense has struggled. As a matter of fact, the unearned runs has been a big story as of late. The reason why the defense has struggled, Anthony Volpe has struggled defensively. Last year, he led the league in errors last year. And then he began the season on IL this year, but then he came back. His defense continues to struggle. This team has committed 20 more errors than they had before the Judge IL. Since the Judge IL, the Yankees have committed more errors than any other team in baseball since Judge is on the injured list. That was a 15-game stretch. So they give up 29 unearned runs in their last 15 games. And right now, the Yankees' defense has been an issue. It's not just defense. Offensively, offense has struggled. The base running has been bad. Chisholm had a bad base running yesterday against the Twins in a 6-1 loss to the Minnesota Twins. The Yankees just lost 2 out of 3 against Minnesota yesterday. Yankees came off a 1-5 homestand. They got swept by the Tigers. They lost 2 out of 3 against Minnesota. You could not take care of these 2 average or below average teams. As a matter of fact, they have lost 3 consecutive series in a row against below average teams. Should have lost 4 in a row. They have lost 3 of their last 4 series. The Yankees have lost 3 of their last 4 series. So the stretch began against Detroit. Actually, no. They have lost 4 of their last 5 series. My mistake. The Yankees have lost 4 of their last 5 series. They lost 2 out of 3 against the Reds at home. They took 2 out of 3 in Detroit. So that's 3-3. And they got swept by the Red Sox in Boston in 4 games. That's 3-7. They got swept against the Tigers at home in 3 games. That's 3-10. So the Yankees were on a 7-game losing streak. And then they dropped 2 out of 3 against Minnesota. They did snap their 7-game winning streak last Friday. The Yankees have dropped 12 of their last 16 games. And the batting average, team batting average during that stretch, under 212. They hit under 210. Team batting average. Runners in score position, under 150. Runners in score position. And the Yankees have committed 22 errors during that 16-game stretch and 37 unearned runs. And a team ERA during that 16-game stretch, which is close to 4.5. Bullpen ERA over 4.5. Starters ERA over 4.5. So this is a bad stretch. You're 9 games ahead, 500. You're 49-40, and you're sitting in the first walker. And the problem is you're 4 games behind the Rays in the first place. You're 4 games out of first place. So this has got to be the biggest series of the year for the Yankees. We're down to second to last series of the first half of the schedule. Yankees got Rays for 4. And then who else they had to play after the Rays? They got to play the Nationals in D.C. to wrap up the 7-game, to wrap up the first half of the schedule. I mean, it doesn't get any tougher than this. It doesn't get any tougher. As a matter of fact, the Yankees are 1-4 this season against the Rays. The Yankees will have 2 4-game series. One this week in Tampa Bay, and then in late September in Yankee Stadium, including a doubleheader on. Let me look. Yankees have a day-night doubleheader on. Let me see. Let me take a look at it. September 22nd. They'll have a doubleheader. Yankees and Rays in Yankee Stadium. They'll play 4 times in 3 days, from September 22nd through the 24th. They'll play 2 games on the 22nd, doubleheader. They'll play 1 on the 23rd, and they'll play 1 on the 24th. So, Yankees will see 8 times over the next couple of months. So, we're down just final 3 months of the regular season. If they get at least Stanton or Judge back and McMahon otherwise, Yankees won't get rolling. They're just, like I said, they're just 4 games out of first place. And I give you much respect for Aaron Boone. He kept his job as long as he could. He kept his job. He's keeping his job as long as he could. No disrespect. I can't disrespect anyone else because of Aaron Boone. It's been a frustrating time right now in New York City. So you gotta get it done starting this series. All right. Let's talk LeBron James right now. Before I wrap this up, LeBron James, since they left the Lakers, LeBron remains unsigned. He hasn't signed any teams yet. The 3 destinations right now is the Warriors, the Cavs, or the 76ers. There's 3 explorations. So they're still working on that. So hopefully LeBron will make a decision as soon as late this week. LeBron is returning, I believe, for his 23rd season in the NBA. But where he's gonna play, that's the question. Where he's gonna play. Where LeBron James is gonna play next year. Will it be in San Francisco? Will it be in Philadelphia? Or will it be back in Cleveland where he belongs? So, as of right now, I have no definitive answer. I'll let anyone decide. Do you think LeBron deserves to win another championship with new teams? No. They don't. He doesn't deserve to win another championship. There's nothing acquired to put themselves in prime position to win these championships of your own. That's a big aspect. But the bigger deal is You wouldn't take anything for granted from you guys. But at worst, you could put yourself in a bad position to put back at it. So LeBron James, I just didn't. I wasn't gonna believe you at all. But that's what the problem is. You will never take that deal much higher than you expected. So let's see where LeBron destinates. We'll have to find out. We'll keep you updated as soon as possible. All right? So tomorrow I'll do another round here. What's coming up on JDB's morning cap? Who will be the potential best team in the Eastern Conference in the NBA and the best team in the Western Conference in the NBA for 2026-27 season? And then who will have a better season in the NFL? Will it be Cincinnati Bengals or the Dallas Cowboys? I'll answer the question tomorrow. And then I'll talk the Minnesota Vikings 2026 outlook, including the quarterbacks of Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy. So I'll keep you guys updated as soon as possible. I will continue the show tomorrow. So this is JDB's Morning Cap. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, and enjoy your day.